Okay, today's debate, guys, is who decides what genre an artist is in?
Me.
And why do you decide, Snips? Tell him.
Yeah, why would you say that?
I have a massive amount of expertise which gives me the right to call the shots on everything music related ever.
When you say yourself, do you mean you as a member of the public, or as a DJ, or just you because you're Snips?
No, just me because I'm Snips.
Wow. It's a bit aggressive, isn't it?
I thought it was quite subjective because me and Snips were talking earlier and I said that Sneakbo's grime and he's telling me that Sneakbo's hip hop. So it is kind of a matter of opinion as well. It's quite subjective.
Sorry, just to directly respond to that. Yeah. So obviously this is just a conversation, debate, but you kind of, when it comes to like artists, if they're not found to be in multiple genres, then it can't get sticky. If a band only does rock and roll, there's no way you can call them a hip hop band. If a band only does R&B, or a group only does R&B, there's no way you can call them a fucking rock band.
How about if a band or something predominantly does one type of sound, but occasionally will venture into other sounds? Then is it what they do predominantly that defines who they are, or?
Shall I respond to that? Do you want to comment?
I want to respond to that and then respond to what you said.
Go on, Tazer.
What you said, yeah, it makes sense. Okay, cool. So if they do a rock and roll song, then they're rock and roll. But then if they occasionally do a hip hop song, then that song is in the hip hop genre. That doesn't mean they're a hip hop act. That's my point. Sneakbo, the reason, one of the tunes why he got big was a Bashment instrumental spitting grime. Yeah. But people called it hip hop. So it's confusing when you listen to it because people are mixing it in with Bashment music. So Sneakbo's tunes used to get played on Bashment sets, but people call it a hip hop song.
You know what?
Is that because it doesn't epitomise what Bashment is?
It's the tempo he was at.
Can I just say what was
spitting at? Touch a Button. He did that little remix to Touch a Button.
Before that, he done another song with Bashment as well.
I would say like his style of spitting on that was more hip hop.
Me personally, I don't know who decides what genre the artist goes in. To be fair, I just listen to the music and then I dictate what the artist is. So I guess basically what I'm trying to say is the people decide. For example, my example was Sneakbo was spitting, I believe was grime lyrics on a Bashment beat, and when I go raving I hear it mixed in with Bashment, but it's not a Bashment track. People would class it as hip hop. Some people would even say it's grime because of the tempo, so it's kind of confusing.
You know what, I'm finding that artists are actually not caring anymore because I feel like A, they don't want to be pigeonholed, B, they don't want to listen to the purists who kind of probably listen to them from the beginning. They might have been doing one genre of music. For them to kind of just stay in that same vein, it makes it quite difficult.
You need to have a home, do you know what I mean? Because it's like...
but as an artist as well, artists grow.
It is.
Are they not entitled?
What you're saying?
But it's almost like music, you see genres of music, they become lifestyles. So it's like hip hop's not just the music you hear, it's the clothes you wear, it's the way in which you behave. So rock and roll is clearly an example of a lifestyle. So if someone just ventures everywhere, I don't...
Sorry, I just want to ask a question. So if somebody does hip hop, are they not allowed to venture outside of that?
They can, but if you, I kind of feel like if you define one sound, for you to completely reject that after a while and then venture onto another sound, and then we don't even hear you do what you've done again, it breaks my heart.
I agree with...
back to it. You said, but we do go back to it.
What about, I don't know if anyone's watched that interview with SBTV that Sneakbo did with one of the girls, and he said that there's no money in grime. There's no money in grime. And that's why he started doing a more kind of like commercial kind of in the dance when you start playing in the rave. I don't know, I wouldn't call it hip hop personally, but he started moving more to that genre because he makes more money. So what would you call him? Would you classify him by what he started with, which was originally grime, or would you compare him to what he's doing now, which was like, I don't know, I call it pop music.
I don't know what to call him.
I call him a music artist who was doing this and now he's doing that. If he wants to do that, then fine. I don't see why people get so personal about it. It's his thing. Let him do it.
I think what people need to understand is like a lot of the time it's not as clear cut as like obviously the main difference between grime and hip hop was the tempo. A lot of the time grime was always at 140 BPM. Nowadays hip hop's at 70 BPM, which is half speed of 140 BPM. So a lot of the trap music fits into the same tempo. But I think it's more of a cultural thing. So for example, if I'm a hip hop artist and I'm culturally a hip hop artist and I decide I want to do grime music, that doesn't mean I can't do it. But if I have a lack of understanding of that culture, it becomes contrived. So you could have an artist like Robbie Williams, did a song where he was rapping, and it was over a Barry rap break that Mary J, that Smith and Wesson, all old school rappers used. had all the ingredients of being a hip hop record, but there's no way you can tell me that was a hip hop record, because culturally what Robbie Williams is doing is not hip hop music. I personally think, and I know this sounds quite arrogant or self-righteous or whatever, but as a tastemaker, I think the people that are knowledgeable on a subject or a culture really can call the shots on defining what something is. For example, if I'm white British born, I'm not going to give the authority on what Caribbean culture is, having never been to the Caribbean. Someone who's grown up there all their life would have more of an authority on what's relevant to that culture and what's authentic to that culture. And it's the same within music. If you're a tastemaker and somebody who's an expert in a certain field, your opinion and your take on something obviously holds more weight, and therefore you have more of a right to kind of define the boundaries and differences between different forms of music. No?
That's because it was inauthentic and we knew it.
But that's
the point. But if somebody is, say for instance, somebody who is a hip hop artist and has always listened to rock, but we
like
just didn't know it, and that's cool, because obviously we want to have records like Walk This Way by Run DMC, and that broke so many barriers. A lot of people are like,
wow. You can tell when it's contrived and when it's someone saying, oh, I'm gonna go into this instead because I feel it might be more lucrative or whatever. Like I can't respect a Robbie Williams trying to do a hip hop record, because it's evident within the music.
No, but can I just say, if someone's an artist, right, and they say like Wiley, and he's a grime artist, and he originates as a grime artist, is it not okay for him to do a dance track like his latest track?
Let me just quickly hit back on that one. For me, it's like the reason, if it was a good track, then you would have accepted it. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like I don't know. The point is.
Back to his point.
What's his point?
His point was that you need to have an understanding.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good track. I'm not saying it wasn't a good track. I'm saying it wasn't a hip hop record.
But if he had an understanding of what hip hop represented, then potentially Snips might have been like, that's actually a decent track and it kind of is what hip hop represents. But it was no way near.
But that's what I'm saying.
And that to me is.
But then what do you say to Dizzy Rascal when he made that run? When you see the sirens coming, essentially that's heavy metal. Essentially that's like hardcore like rock. You know what I'm saying to you? So then. Did the rock scene then say, oh, Dizzy, you can't make that track? Like, what do you know about rock?
I don't know. I didn't particularly like it.
To be honest, they probably did.
No, but are they right to say that? Are they right to say that though? Within, like, who determines that? Who determines?
Don't you feel like if you're a part of something, you have the right to say what you like within that situation? It's almost like your community. In my community, if I see something I don't like happening within my community, I have the right to stand up and be like, I don't accept that. I feel like this, if I'm a part of hip hop, like I said, it's part of my life. It makes what I wake up listening to it, I go to bed listening to it. So if I see something I don't like it, surely I should be like.
It's not a representation of what you believe to be the audience.
As an artist, you come out with a sound, and if it's consistently one way, a certain amount of people gravitate towards you that sort of live a similar lifestyle to you, and you're kind of put on the pedestal, put in a high position due to the people that have supported you. So therefore, I'm not saying it by ends and means it's them that decide where you are, but they have an influence, they should have a voice because they're the people and they brought you there. And for you to just totally ignore them and banish them like you're the Pink the artist, who I bought her album when she was R&B, and she completely fucked me off and went to rock. Feels like her. It's almost like, you know, my dad going missing, or my mum saying, oh, I'm gonna buy you a present, and then she doesn't buy it for me, and I'm sitting there thinking, where's my present?
So with like Poet, Snips and Teeth, so would you call artists that kind of evolutionize, as I would like to call it, into a different genre, would you call them a sellout, or?
No, it depends.
It depends on their motive for why they want to do it. Yeah. If the motive is purely a financial gain, then yes. But if they've got different influences,
alright, but that goes. The reason why he was doing it was because the pop scene is making a lot more money than the grime scene.
Yeah, but the only thing about Sneako is,
if he's honest about it though, if he's honest about it, I can't be mad at that. But that goes back to, if he just says I want to make pop music to make more money,
that goes back to her point, what she said about Wiley. Everyone talks about Wiley being the king of grime, and then he's.
No, but you know the thing is different. He pays homage to it. He consistently pays homage to grime. If he wants to evolve and venture onto different situations, as a grime fan, I would never be angry with that because he epitomizes grime. He would make that heatwave record. I'm telling you what, 2 weeks later he'll release a grime track. So he pleases both markets. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
My thing is that it comes down to then who owns the genre. Who then decides whether you can or can't do something? Do you know what I'm saying to you? Because who's the people? There's not a congregation of people that come together and say, you know what, do we accept this track? No, that's not what happened.
You're making it quite silly. Nothing like that. By no means am I saying a group of individuals come together and say, alright, we must determine where this grime artist stands. It's not like that. But as people, if we're individuals within society that enjoy a certain type of music, and then all of a sudden it just goes a different direction, surely we have the voice to say what we like.
Like I said, I think it's all a matter of opinion, and the whole Sneak Bo thing, I think it is a type of progression. If you say, like he said himself, he's not making money from the grime industry, and you can't really expect them to. They're not called out to do gigs, they're not touring, they're not hitting up big artists for collaborations, so obviously he has to kind of do his own thing and progress into a different genre.
I can't.
And I know this sounds quite self-righteous, but I think if you have a more of an understanding and you're more knowledgeable about a subject, then your opinion therefore holds more weight. Like religion is subjective, but if you go and speak to in Christianity a priest or whatever, or an imam in Islam or whatever, that person with that massive amount of more knowledge, has their opinion or their take on something will generally hold more weight than someone who's not as educated on the subject. Doesn't mean that anybody's opinion is right or wrong, but the more educated.
I don't know, like I just feel like it's down to preference for me. Like if I feel, going back to the inauthenticity, sorry I can't even get that word out of my mouth. If I feel like it's not real, yeah, there you go. If I feel like it's not real, then I can't rock with that sound. Like for me, I've got no issues with Wiley going into pop because he does great pop records. If it was a shit pop records, I'd be like, Wiley, stick to what you know and keep to the grime.
That's what going back to the Robbie Williams thing. Like, if it was a good track, you would have accepted it as part of that genre. What would you have?
Because you're not saying that you accept Heatwave as a grime record, it's a pop record, but you still accept Wiley as a grime artist.
No, but she's saying that the reason why you can accept Wiley as a dance artist, right, is because his good dance tracks.
Yeah, right? Are you accepting him as a dance artist, or are you accepting him as a grime artist?
I'm accepting him as a grime artist who's gone and done that, and he's done the pop records well, so I can't knock him for that. For me, he'll always be grime, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I also find that there's nothing wrong with an artist who's from a particular genre going on to do something else.
I'm with you.
You know, that's me.
I feel like this, if you're an artist and you've come from a specific genre of music and then you go into something else, I don't feel like there's an issue with you doing it as long as when you do it, you do it well. An example of that, somebody mentioned Wiley. Clearly, he comes from grime. He's gone into doing dance, pop music, and he's done it well, you know. He's gone to #1, you know, he's doing exceptionally well with all of his other singles that do not come from the grime genre. I don't feel like that anyone has the right to tell somebody like Wiley or anyone else what they should and shouldn't be doing in their career. Just as long as, you know, as an artist, when you do other genres of music, that you kind of, you know, be respectful towards it and do it well. That's all I ask for in anybody that's delivering me any music at all.
It's like, who determines whether someone can or can't make a certain kind of genre? Who's the people?
The people are the people.
And does the artist then mean they have to abide by them?
You never have to abide by it, but you know what, at the end of the day, the sales will show for itself. If you're not selling, that means...
Don't patronise me! Don't lie to me! You remind me of my father, you awful person! If you're ever watching this, me and Lala will make love like this.
No, we won't. But if you're not selling, then, you know, it speaks for itself.
You're 6 seconds, camera.
I'm sorry.
So got your voice in there, get your voice in there.
Like, well, I think it's a mixture of the fans and music critics, so DJs, people like that, who kind of decide who the genre is, because obviously they're the influence in culture.
That's the influence. The people with the most knowledge.
So kind of go back to your first point, that you make the decision. It might
it's all right. He's right. It's snicks. It's all snicks. Go on, Gum. What you say?
Right, listen. Basically, that's like you motherfucker trying to tell me he's Jesus and shit. No fucking way. I don't fucking. No fucking way. I ain't seen no motherfucker walking no shit. Fuck that shit. It's not happening.
It might not be strictly true what he said, but it kind of has an influence. Like part of it is part of it's true. I did actually.
Don't let him fucking patronise you like that.
How dare you get judged correctly?
Personally, I believe you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want. Like, if you're a rapper, you should be able to rap on whatever you want to rap on, whether it's like hip hop, whether it's grime, whether it's even rock. If you're a rapper and you want to rap, just fucking rap. But the thing is, like, the problem is, like, people as humans, as we are right now, as in, we're tribal, we're cultural, we want to belong to something, we want to belong to a group of people, that's how we feel safe. Like, and when it comes to music, we almost kind of take people as if they're like fighting a cause for us. So it's like, you don't want them to shift to different teams because you feel they're fighting for your team. So if they're going around different genres, some people feel like, oh man, that's my guy. Why is he fighting for that team? He should be on our team. So that's an innate part of being human, I believe it is, that it's just like, yeah, you just want to belong, you're tribal, it's cultural. And on top of that, it's like, it makes it easier for labels. Like, labels do this on purpose because they want to know who they're selling it to. They want to know that we're selling it to these guys, we're into this kind of thing, and yeah, they kind of tick you off basically, like, do you do this, do that, yes. So it's like, that's why genres are good for labels, because it's very easy for them to sell it to a group of people, because hey, if you act how, you know, people want you to act, then shit, they're gonna sell you what they want to sell you. So you gotta think about that.